The second type of active transport is vesicular transport. It will require ATP because you're actually taking part of the membrane of a cell and enveloping things and carrying them across the entire cell and depositing them on the other side, or taking them throughout the cell. What this involves is it involves exocytosis, or transporting things out of the cell. Endocytosis is this enfolding of the plasma membrane that brings with it things from the extracellular fluid and can then take those things and do something with them, good or bad, depending on what needs to be done. And I say good or bad because phagocytosis is an example of something our white blood cells do in the immune system when there is a bacteria. So I would say these look kind of like bacteria or virus or some other bad guy. White blood cells will actually grab them, fold in on itself, and form a vesicle with those, and can basically lyse them or have enzymes that destroy them or take them and use them to activate the immune system. So you can get rid of bad guys, but also sometimes endocytosis can be taking things from the extracellular fluid that are for good, that the cell actually needs. There's two types. You've got receptor mediated, and you just have regular endocytosis. So receptor mediated is when you have something binding a receptor. It's going to trigger that enveloping. Let's see, these over here, like this one right here, doesn't have receptor mediated. It's just enfolding and taking whatever's nearby. And then we have something called transcytosis. Transcytosis is a combination of endocytosis and exocytosis, but it's also carrying those, whatever came from the extracellular fluid, across the cell and depositing on the other side. So when we talk about endocytosis and that initial enfolding of the plasma membrane with whatever's in the extracellular fluid, I just talked to you about phagocytosis, when the white blood cells will engulf bacteria or viruses. There's a supplementary video of a white blood cell, and it's using those pseudopods, but it will go around and you'll see it eating the bacteria. Pinocytosis is another type of endocytosis where the plasma membrane enfolds, and it's just going to bring in that extracellular fluid and some of the solutes into the cell. We see this a lot within the small intestine with nutrient absorption. The receptor-mediated endocytosis, again, you've got receptors on the plasma membrane. Once they bind to whatever extracellular molecules are going to activate it, it folds in, and it forms something called a clathrin-coated pit. This clathrin-coated pit will then continue to form the circle and separate from the external plasma membrane. And this will bring the extracellular fluid and whatever was attached, whatever solutes were there, to the inside of the cell. An example of this is also nutrient absorption in the small intestine. We also see this with LDLs. Those are low density lipids. Those are your bad cholesterol. You can also see this with the uptake of insulin. Exocytosis, on the other hand, is when a vesicle needs to, or a cell needs to get rid of something. And so the vesicle begins to merge with the plasma membrane, forms an opening or a fusion pore, and essentially just kind of spits everything out into the extracellular space. It releases it. And then that will merge with, usually the vesicle will merge with the existing plasma membrane to become part of the plasma membrane. There is a supplementary video of not only endocytosis and exocytosis, but also some transcytosis in the lecture videos and amongst there in part C. So some examples of when exocytosis is essential. Once the cells have made hormones, we need to release them so that they can be used by certain organs. So we see this with hormone secretion. We also see this with release of neurotransmitters in the nervous system. Good old mucus release. mucus cells make some mucus, and then that's how they release it, right? Through exocytosis. And then also any waste that might be in cells can occur or can be gotten rid of through exocytosis.